What's going on, guys? My name is Kelly, and today we're going to be reviewing the new Samyang RF 85mm f1.4. So let's get started with the specs. This lens has a total of 11 elements in 8 groups, an aperture range from f1.4 to f16. It uses a UMC coating that reduces any unwanted reflections to provide a crystal clear image, has a minimum focus distance of 0.9 meters or 2.9 feet, a filter size of 77 millimeters, 9 aperture blades, weighs 582 grams, uses LSM autofocus, and best of all, this thing is weather sealed. So let's talk about that weather sealing. How well does it actually work, and is it even reliable? I recently went on a trip to Washington where I took it on several 10-mile hikes, and then I also took it camping overnight on a beach. So here we are on the beach. I'm out here on these rocks trying to get some cool product photos of the lens, and you know, I'm getting waves in the background, getting some cool shots, but guess what happens? My guy gets crushed by a wave. He got destroyed. Wait, that's not even the worst part. Ready? Destroyed. Homeboy is gone. It got drenched in ocean seawater. There's literally a layer of water on this lens right now. So it got soaked, and I'm like, my lens is broke. But you know what happened? You know what the lens had to say about this ocean? He said nothing. Absolutely nothing. The lens was completely unaffected. It's right here. It still works perfectly fine. Nothing happened to it. I didn't see any water in it. No fogging. Nothing. So clearly the weather sealing works very good, or else I don't think it would have survived this. I don't recommend going out and doing this, obviously, but if it happened, it should probably be okay. So none of that weather sealing matters if the photos the lens takes suck, but luckily I don't think they suck. I think they look very good. So we're gonna go look at some photos that I've taken with this lens. So I've got like a huge variety of photos. I've got landscapes and portraits and product photos, just a lot of situations I put this lens through, and it handled all of them very well. So these first few photos were on my trip in the mountains. They're all going to be shot at a higher aperture, so like f8, f16, you know, around there. So here's the first photo. I think it looks, you know, very nice. Everything's super nice, super sharp and crispy. So this photo was actually taken on the EOS RP. This one was also on the RP with the 85. You can crop in and still have a very sharp image with this lens. It looks fantastic. And moving on to this photo, again, if we crop in, it looks so good. You get so many layers. You get the trees, you got these rocky mountains, and then you got these layers in the background of mountain, and then you get clouds. There's just so many layers, and it looks so good. You don't have to be afraid to crop in with this lens because it's just super sharp. You'll still get amazing results even when cropping in. Even on the EOS RP at 24 megapixels, still looks fantastic. Here's another photo. This one's got some cool flowers in it. This one also has lots of layers in it. You got the foreground with these flowers, and then this rocky mountain with the trees, and then you've got more mountains in the background, you know, just super nice, super sharp photo. The super cool thing about shooting landscapes with an 85mm lens is that, you know, the mountains look huge in the pictures. Like, these look massive. In all of these pictures, the mountains look ginormous. Again, super sharp, looks nice and crispy. And here we have some grass in the foreground, and then we've got the mountain in the background. I think this lens takes super good pictures. Here we've got some trees. They are super sharp in focus with the background very, very slightly out of focus because we're focused on these trees up here. So this picture is actually a panorama taken with the 85 to get like a wider view. It's actually 17 photos merged together. You can see here all of them, you know, it didn't merge perfectly, so I had to crop it in a tiny bit. But when you merge them all together, it gets a super cool wide view with an 85mm. Again, all these layers. We got the foreground, we've got a mountain here, and then the background with this big snow mountain. And again, we can just crop in, get a super nice picture. I wish Bob Ross were here to paint a picture of this. This looks so yummy. This is so good. All right, and here we go. These were the very first pictures that I took when I got this lens. I went outside and I was like, I gotta take pictures or something. And I got these shots of homeboy Bumblebee flying around. Look at this. You can see he's got a tongue hanging out. I didn't know bees had tongues. But look at this. It's super sharp. We're at f1.4 and you're still getting very sharp results even when you zoom in. Yeah, so we've got another photo of the bee on the flowers, just chilling, but super sharp. Looks super good. And there he is flying away. And here we are with some city shots. So this is Seattle. This one's at f2.5, so we get these trees a little bit out of focus in the foreground, but it gets nice and sharp in the middle where I want your eyes to look, right at this, I forgot what this thing's called, this space noodle or something. So this is basically the same photo, just at another angle with a different foreground. Another photo of the tower. You can crop this in and have no problem losing sharpness or anything. Looks so good. Right, and these are more of some product-y type shots. So this is just at a local coffee roaster near me. This is at f2, but even at f2, you're still getting a very nice blurred out background. Another photo of the gooseneck kettle just chilling on the table. Alright, and here are some flower photos, so it's super sharp. Look at the stem here, it's like you can see little fuzzies on it. This photo's at f1.4 and everything looks super nice. This next photo is actually at f13, but everything looks incredibly sharp because it is at f13, and you get the cool sun flares when you're at smaller apertures, so that's looks really neat. But just look how crispy everything is. So I went downtown just to test the lens a little bit more, and here are some little duckies, but look at the like fuzz. Look how much detail is in this duck's feathers. They don't have fur, feathers. Look at the feathers, it's so sharp. There's so much detail in these little ducks. This photo was like crazy. So once I took this photo and then like finally looked at it, I was blown away by how sharp this was. Homeboy got a strawberry face, but it's perfectly in focus, perfectly sharp. It looks incredible. I was blown away, not by this photo, but by how sharp and crispy Homeboy's strawberry face was. I'd never seen one of these ducks that close up. It looks crazy. And this is just a fun photo of a duck taking a bath. Thought it was super cool with all the water flying everywhere, and then the little drops falling off his beak. So these two ducks were sitting in the grass, and I was like, I'm gonna get a picture of those two ducks sitting in the grass. And then I did it. That's the sharpest grass I've ever seen. Sharpest grass. He's staring me down like I'm gonna murder you if you touch my grass. And then he was like, get the photo of my good side. I can see the reflection in his eyeball. This photo had my mind blown. I was amazed. Look at this, ready? So it's just like, you know, it's not a fantastic photo, but when you zoom into this man's feathers, look at this. Look how much detail you get in these feathers. That looks insane. I've never seen a feather that close up. I was blown away by how much I could zoom into these feathers, and it looked fantastic. It's insane. Look at this duck. That's one sharp duck. So these next few photos were an autofocus test. So the car's driving by and I'm tracking it, taking photos, and I'm at a slow shutter speed, so I was at a 40th of a second, which is pretty slow for an 85mm. But the reason I'm at such a slow shutter is so that we could get these photos right here, where the background is in motion, but the car is nice and sharp. They are kind of hard to nail, but when you do get them, they look incredible. You get the motion blur in the foreground and the background, but the car is nice and sharp. And the lens was nailing focus like the whole time. I wasn't worried about it missing focus at all. I was just worried about me perfectly tracking the car so that there'd be no motion blur. So here's another one I got of it nice and sharp. I tracked it like perfectly. You just get super cool photos doing this. So again, the motion blurred background, foreground, but then you get that nice sharp car. And you've got to take a lot of photos to get these right. So we did take a lot of photos. Like, it is in focus even though it doesn't look like it is. It's just motion blur and I wasn't perfectly tracking the car. Again, when you perfectly track the car, you get this, and it looks incredible. Super nice photo. That looks so good. So here we were doing another autofocus test just to see how well it would track me walking back and forth. So here we go. The first picture is perfectly in focus, and as I walk back, it stays perfectly in focus, doesn't pulse at all, doesn't go out of focus, not even like a little bit. Look at this. All the way back. Stays in focus. And then we did it one more time just to get consistency. And look at this. stays in focus the whole time. And this is not even like a good lighting situation. One half of my face is extremely bright, and then the other half is like dark and in shadows, and it had no problem tracking me. So these next photos were shot downtown. I was on my one wheel zooming around. He is on whatever this thing is zooming around. And I'm moving, he's moving. We're both at very inconsistent speeds, and I was just seeing how well is the autofocus gonna nail this man. So I'm just shooting photos while I'm one wheeling, while he's on his thing, and it had no problem autofocusing on him. All of these are perfectly sharp, perfectly in focus. That's insane. We're both riding around going between like 5 and 15 miles per hour. So I don't usually take portraits, but I wanted to take some for this review because I know a lot of people are gonna want to take portraits with this lens, and I think it'd be like one of the perfect lenses to take portraits with. Just like look at how nice this looks. Super sharp. You get that destroyed background. We're at f1.4 in this photo, and it looks incredible. Here's basically the same photo but shot vertically, and it looks amazing, and we don't have to worry about cropping in at all because this lens is very sharp. Again, you get that destroyed background, and here we are just taking some creative, I don't know what these were. We were just taking photos. I'm not a portrait person, but it's so sharp. Look at this. That's incredibly sharp. So much detail. Why would you not use this lens for portraits? Don't know why. Here's the last portrait, and it looks incredibly sharp. So much detail in the eyes and the eyelashes. So the focus is on this eye because we're shooting at f1.4, so you get such a shallow depth of field that this eye is a little bit more in focus than this eye. It's insane. So I did do a few more autofocus tests. I will go ahead and play those right now. Watch how stupid fast this autofocus is. So we're on this bush right here. Pole, tree, pole, tree, pole, bush, tree, pole, tree, bush, bush. It's literally focusing as fast as I can move the camera. That's insane. Insanity. This lens is fantastic. All right, so if you'll walk towards the camera and stop when you get to about the one wheel, look at how fantastic it's focusing on that man. That's the good stuff. So if you'll run back and do some twirly doos, the good stuff. That's amazing. And come back towards the camera. That's amazing. It did perfect. This is so yummy! Woo! Woo!
Do a backflip.
Backflip. So like, let's say you're in extremely low light, you know, and you're filming the street performers, and they don't have lighting because they just don't have lighting, and they're just out there doing cartwheels. Yeah, they're doing hits. That was good.
Yeah. Before we zoomed it. Yeah, it's hot. You're gonna any tilt. Yeah. Get focus wall. Good. That's definitely what street performers do right there.
Really?
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah, that's it.
there's no way it tracked me this whole time.
It's still, you're still chilling,
That's
dude.
so crazy, dude. All right, so we just did all of those tests. Phone was mounted here. Look at how dark it is outside. This is just filmed with my phone, but it's literally pitch black outside. So there's this one street light, but it's not bright at all. It's probably the same brightness as the lamp next to your bed. And we were just shooting all of those photos right here down this road. You can't even see the road. That's how dark it is. We're literally doing these tests, these low light tests in pitch blackness, and this lens is performing fantastic.
If you want to do astrophotography, you could just point that at the sky and use autofocus.
Literally, like the sky is the same color as this road right now. But there's clouds right now, so we don't get any astrophotography. We get the cloud photography. I think it should be, yeah. So when you go around, it seems like it just gets stuck on the post. But as soon as you get through, it's like, there he is. Yeah. So the autofocus on this lens is clearly fantastic. It's quick, accurate, and reliable. It's super quiet. Like, you can hear it if you want to listen to it, but like when you're not thinking about it and you're just out shooting, you're not gonna hear it. For the past, month that I've used this, I've never been like, man, this autofocus is so stupid loud, I don't want this lens anymore, yeet. No, it's been fantastic. It's been great. So in summary, this lens has fantastic autofocus. It's super light and portable. It's got amazing weather sealing. The image quality is great, and you get it all for just $699. That is a fantastic price, especially since Canon's RF 1.2 is $3,000. You could literally get 4 of these lenses and have $200 left over to spend on whatever you want. So would you rather have 4 of these lenses and $200, or Canon's one lens? I don't know. I think this lens is a fantastic choice. You save so much money, and it's great. There's like nothing bad about it, nothing wrong. It's a fantastic lens. So would I recommend this lens? 100% I would recommend this lens. It's been fantastic on the Canon R, RP, and the R5. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'll have some sample photos taken with this lens in the description below if you guys want to go check those out. I'm gonna end this video with some clips taken with this lens, and if you want to stick around and check those out, then awesome, and if not, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.